Hello guys and welcome to Stories, the True and the Fictional, or Story Chat as we love to call it. We have a wonderful guest, but before I bring her in, I want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Rebecca Cassells and the Rising Dawn series. If you like werewolf romance and characters modelled off Henry Cavill, check it out on Amazon. But now that the promo's done, Kelly Wilson, how are you, my friend?
I am great. Even the better to see you tonight.
Aw. Well,
he's pretty cool. I love this guy.
Well, for those that may not know, who is Kelly Wilson?
Well, she is soon to be a multi-award-winning international author, just to let you know.
Wow.
No.
New York Times?
Only joking. At the moment, she is I am an Australian author. I'm an educator. And I'm a podcast presenter, just like you, J.A.
Yeah, there you go. We felt the need to swap, you know.
We did. And I loved my interview with you. So for listeners out there, I did stalk J.A. to, get a bit of a spot in his cool show. So thanks.
Yeah, well, normally we have a second host on, but Ryan is in hospital at the moment. He had a bit of a bad infection in his leg, and
poor thing.
Yeah, so he'll be back in a week or two.
Okay.
So
he misses out tonight when we have our chat.
And but I get to have all the icebreakers to myself. He hogs the questions that he likes, So tonight I will, or today, depending on you're listening, I get to hit you with these icebreakers. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm totally ready.
All right. And just to reiterate, they don't have to be political. They can be funny, and if Ryan was here, he would encourage you to be as selfish as you possibly can be. But if you could get rid of one thing in the world, what would it be?
That is just such a massive question, and you know it. So, on a non-political way, I would say poachers. I hate them. I'd love to spit on them. They're disgusting. I can't stand their self-entitlement and their greed. Is that passionate enough for you? Probably not. But even the bigger picture, if we got rid of entitled people, then we could all live a cool, happy, relaxed, even life, where the greed didn't exist, and we could just hang out.
Yeah, well, how long until Elon Musk sends people to Mars? Because, we could...
Yeah, we could start again.
Yeah, it's more so all the entitled people would go to Mars because they would be entitled. No, well,
nice.
they would all line up and go, oh, yes, well, I deserve to go.
Yes, because I am more special. I actually like that because they could assume it's a two-way ticket, but it's not. It's a one-way ticket.
Yeah.
So we would have the last laugh.
Yeah. And there's, and if everyone's seen The Martian with Matt Damon, it's probably not going to be fun.
No, they're lost. They're lost.
Yeah,
but, hopefully they can get a Wi-Fi signal there and Uber Eats and they'll be fine.
Not sure about Uber Eats, but do you think Amazon would still do next day delivery or same day delivery?
Probably. They reach far and wide. Yeah. I think they probably would.
That'll be their new base. Awesome. All right. Tell me something that's on your bucket list.
My bucket list is huge, but my number one thing on my bucket list is to go to Costa Rica and to spend some time with my all-time favorite animal, a sloth. They have a sanctuary there that, oh my gosh, I would just love. I am a crazy cat woman. Don't get me wrong. I have 3 cats and 2 dogs and blah, blah. But sloths, they just bring it. They know how to live.
Now, well, when you said Costa Rica, my first thought was Jurassic Park. Because, my friends and I once upon a time dreamed of making a horror movie about a sloth.
And it'd be kind of slow, don't you think?
Well, the sub, like it'll say sloth, and then the sub note or whatever it is, it would say you will see it coming. But
you'd have to have a good couple of hours up your sleeve, and the suspense. I don't know how you'd do that.
Oh well, we found the cheapest and easiest way and most effective handycam, because those found footage films they're intense,
They are true. Well, you've pulled off the whole emu thing, so I wouldn't count it out.
No, I'll put it on. It's on my bucket list.
Do it. I like a lot. Yeah. All
right. Well, what's the greatest sitcom ever made?
Oh, Is there a question on that? Friends is the greatest
Friends.
sitcom ever.
Interesting.
You know, I could go with Seinfeld because
Yeah.
that teaches us almost every life lesson we need to know, really. You know, I still could repeat episode after episode, but then Friends is just up there for me. It's too funny.
It's common. It's a very common answer. Seinfeld and Friends are
really?
the two most common answers we get.
I don't want to be common. I want to be different.
Oh,
All right.
what's your second favorite?
I don't really. I'm gone. I don't really have it for.
Mine is Scrubs.
Ooh, never seen Scrubs.
You've never seen Scrubs?
Never.
It is brilliant, except for season 9. But
Oh, why?
well, it's technically a spin-off, but the main character left, and he's like the main character, and they tried to wean you off him. So he was in a couple of episodes, but you're like going, it should have been a spin-off, and it may have done better. But no, it's fan. If you can ever, I think it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I got that.
Though the sad thing is, it's got such a good soundtrack, but on Disney Plus they didn't have the rights for those songs, so all the songs aren't as good.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's sad. No, but definitely check it out.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Fantastic. It came out in 2003, I think it started.
Yeah, I'm a bit behind the times then. Yeah, I'm a Netflix fan. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I'm watching Bridgerton at the moment, and it's really cool because one of my characters in my latest novel is from 1901, so I'm getting all my old language on with Bridgerton. Didn't quite realize it was as racy as it is, but I'm loving that.
Well, if it's Netflix, I think Netflix and Amazon Prime, they're both pretty racy.
Yes.
You know, they're like they don't shy away.
No, I might have to ramp my new character up in my novel.
Awesome. Well, speaking of crazy zombie apocalypse plan, do you have one?
Well, funny you mention that, because I live with a couple of teens who take that quite seriously and have pre-planned that actual event.
Awesome.
And I had to actually say to them, explain this. What is this? You know, is this a factor? And they're like, yes, it's creatures that can take over the world. You know, if I'm wrong, tell me. I am old and I don't know. But they mutate, is that right? And they take over.
They bite. They don't
fight.
Spread. No, they bite you.
They bite you and spread.
Then you turn into one, and then another one bites you, and you turn into one, and then there's variations. There's the Walking Dead ones where they're really slow, so you could outrun them, technically.
So my boys said, because I said naturally I would take up as a wombat underground, because their little systems are amazing, and surely I could get them to build, you know, an area that was big enough for me.
Yeah.
Their point was, though, that I should relocate to an island because that was their plan, because they can't swim.
Yeah, that's it. Well, most people say boats, you know, like you live on the water, and then you got to come back to land for supplies, but, you know.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
And but I could just send the wombats out and just take on a wombat diet.
Unless they get turned. No.
Yeah, true. They got big teeth. Yeah, true.
Well, a lot of people say move to the mountains as well. No, I'm in the mountains, and I'm like going like, well, my plan is to stay put.
True. Well, I'm in the mountains too.
Yeah.
So
whereabouts are you?
We're in Upper Beaconsfield, so it's not it's a really rural, bushy area.
Yeah.
Kind of mountain. Where are you? Blue Mountains.
I'm on Blue Mountains, but not Katoomba or the touristy stuff. I'm on the other side of the Blue Mountains.
Oh, how beautiful!
Where people bypass, like we've got a one road in town.
Nice.
So you can't. You come up, then you have to turn around and go back. You know.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But we're completely surrounded by national park.
I see. Same. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so we'll be right. We won't get attacked when the zombies come. We'll be fine.
No, I'll see them coming because I can see Sydney from my place. So.
Oh, you're right there. Give me a call and I'll just go underground.
Yeah. All right. Well, you'll probably see it coming. It probably will start in Melbourne. So.
True. All right. Yeah, I'll get that island happening then, just in case as a backup.
Yeah. I think Tasmania's taken, so you might want to.
There's a really cool island not far from our beach house called French Island. Maybe I could look into that. That could be all right.
Do you have to speak French to go there, or
you don't? Luckily,
no.
I think it's mostly animals, and I prefer them to people mostly anyway. So I'll be fine.
100%.
I'd be okay with
100%.
that.
Well, final icebreaker and one of my
Yes.
favorites. Mr. Elon Musk calls you up. Let's face it. If someone was to invent a time machine, it would be him.
It would be.
And he offers you to test drive his new electric time machine. What do you do? Where do you go?
Do I have to go forward?
You can go anywhere you want.
Oh, good, because I really don't have. I don't foresee the future. I'm not a real. I don't know if that would be as amazing as going back. I think there was a lot of things that are cooler and a lot of cooler people in the past and periods of time. So I would have to say I would love to check out the 50s.
No, the 1950s.
I couldn't be a woman in that time because I'm too outspoken and I'm not the good little housewife type. But I could go and educate women on how to really live.
No, it would be interesting. And I like you said the 50s because it's safe enough. It's between the wars.
Exactly. Yes.
You know, things are up and down.
Kind of look fun. It just looked good. 60s bit wild for me. 40s. Rock and roll hadn't come. So I don't know.
Yeah.
50s for me, thanks.
30s of the Great Depression. It's kind of
Yeah. And I can frock up really nicely in the 50s too.
In the 20s, alcohol's banned.
You've really got to take all this into consideration. 80s, I kind of lived as a preteen, so I've been there, done that, had all the fluoro, the leg warmers, the studded belts. So I feel like I've covered that.
Yeah. No, that's good. Because I feel like it's kind of almost dangerous to go into the future because you don't know what you're going to land in. You don't know
what you need to do, who you need to be.
Yeah.
Nah.
I mean, I might go a day ahead and get the lotto numbers, and that's
good point. Very good point. Yes.
That could,
Yes, that's good point. If you do, can I come? Yeah, that'd be good.
No, I'll just bring you back some numbers.
Okay, great. Yeah,
I'll bring you back. I'll go 2 days. I'll go one day and I'll get myself some numbers. I'll go the next day and get you some numbers.
Awesome. Perfect. I only need enough to be a full-time author. Happy.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
You hear me, don't you? You understand,
Yeah. And I'm only relatively new to writing, so I'm like, I could see myself doing this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I could. Yeah.
something about telling stories. It's
amazing, isn't it? It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it's good. And my niece is obsessed with books.
Oh.
So she went. The whole family went to see Tick Tick Boom in Sydney. If you know Tick Tick Boom, not Andrew Garfield. No. No, but like other people doing it. And she didn't want to go. She didn't want to go, but the way they got her in there is they stopped at a big bookshop, and then she was like, "Oh, books!"
I'll go. Oh, what a beautiful soul.
Yeah. No, so she has to go to every bookshop there is.
Love it. Well, you'd be mighty popular then.
Yeah. No, she's got my book, the first version of my book.
Oh, I bet. Gosh, you'd be super proud. That's amazing.
Yep. All right. Well, speaking of writing,
yes,
let's learn more about you.
Okay.
Where did it begin for you?
I think forever and a day, I've dabbled in writing and loved to write little tiny things along the way. I've been in teaching full time around my kids, of course, for around 24 years. So never had time, never gave myself the time, or was brave enough, I suppose, to go, you know what, I really need to explore this writing thing. The old cliche, during COVID gave us all a bit of time, didn't it?
Yeah.
And, I was educating online at the time, and I had some really tough literacy groups that were disengaged and didn't want to do a thing. And I used to bring my dog in and they would find that funny. And then I quickly would scribble down some funny rhyming stories about him, and it just took off. And then I had schools going, hey, can we use these stories that you've created? So my first picture storybook was called Hudson Houdini, Escapologist Extraordinaire. And it's a 5-part series of my dog at the time, Hudson, and his escapades escaping around our community, which is really true. And it literally took off. And I thought, oh, wow, okay, cool. That's kind of fun. I sent it into a publisher, and luckily it just got picked up, and I thought, oh, okay, that's
Mm.
great. I loved doing the picture story. I've always been a rhymer. I love doing that. And then not long after, I sort of, as you do, as you know, you get the bug, and I thought, well, I'm going to write another story, and I had this incredible footage, months of footage of my very posh cat escaping outside, and she would hang out with a fox and a wombat. I kid you not, we live in a bush area,
Yeah.
and this is what she was doing. And so my imagination went crazy, and I wrote another book called Lady Lulu, which is another picture story. And it, I was lucky enough to get it illustrated by Emma Hay, and it again took off and is going really great guns around the world. And it's in a lot of schools, and I still go into a lot of schools as an author and an educator and use it, but didn't feel that was my niche. I just
Mm.
still didn't think that was my true calling as a writer. So tend to be a little bit of a psycho super challenger. I thought to myself, okay, what do I want to do? And I was thinking about another picture storybook. My mother-in-law had shown me a crystal or a stone, which is called the
Mm.
lapis lazuli stone. It's a blue stone.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know about it. So I was going to write about a girl and a young girl and blah, blah, finding a lapis stone.
Mhm.
And then I started researching where this lapis stone came from and went, oh, it's in Afghanistan. And then I started researching the lapis miners there right to this day. Then, of course, that morphed into, women's education as it does in Afghanistan.
Mhm.
And suddenly I was on this massive journey to write. It's a thriller. It's fast paced. It's a young adult or new adult, I'd call it. Book about a young girl called Grace and her journey finding out the true identity of her family, which has been hidden from her all her life. Until she suddenly realizes that her dad, or she finds out her dad is not her real dad. And she's an angry, furious teen, and she has to go and stay at her grandma's. And it turns out her grandma was an underground educator during the Taliban reign.
Oh.
Yeah. So I've gone right down that road. Why? Was it easy? Absolutely not. But it's getting picked up more and more by school curriculum.
Mm.
And it's topical. Absolutely, it's
Yeah.
topical. I had some publishers overseas go, not touching that, not a chance. Um,
What did you send it to the Middle East or?
no, I didn't. I tell you who wouldn't. America would not. No way.
Oh, that's
London.
interesting.
Well, you have to think about their journey with, Afghanistan, and you can
Yeah.
probably, I've been very, you never go into a topic like that thinking you
Yeah.
know anything at all, and I certainly
Yeah.
didn't.
I mean, you could probably send it to Florida. They're pretty, chill. But
Yeah,
um,
probably. They go, yeah, man, yeah, that's all
just
right.
just just not just not California.
No, no. Anyway, I went with an Australian publisher,
Yeah.
and it's done really well.
Mm.
Its reviews have been higher with adults even than young adult, which is
Oh, wow.
interesting. People have loved it for the informative read. So I've interviewed beautiful Afghan women and educators and um, lots of people from right around the world on that topic, but kept it light-hearted. It's got a really strong female lead. It's got a
Mhm.
happy ending. It kind of makes you go, whew. And I did it so that perhaps young people or any people could be the voice of change in Australia. Have a think about, well, hang on, this is all happening in Afghanistan again.
Mhm.
Women are losing the right to be educated, to wear what they want, to,
Yeah. To
you know,
drive.
to drive, to
Yeah.
go outside, to
Yeah.
anything. And, I had a strange question not long ago. Someone said, how did you know that this was going to happen in 2023? And I said, of course I didn't know the
Yeah.
Taliban were coming back. I was
Yeah.
writing from the mid-90s,
Yeah.
hoping and praying it would never come back. But yeah, it's back. So we need to
Yeah.
read a book like this to understand the oppression there. So
Yeah.
it sounds very sort of heavy and but it's quite uplifting and set in rural Australia. My character
Yeah.
has to be shipped off to her grandma's house because she's in trouble with the law. So it's either juvie
Yeah.
detention or her grandma will take her on. So
Mm.
she goes there, and while she's there, she starts unpacking family secrets more and more and more, and realizes this grandma that she thought was a waste of space is actually an amazing human, still on the run from the Taliban.
See, that's cool. That's cool. It sounds like something even I would pick up. You know.
Yeah,
Um.
I've actually had a lot of men read it and go, "Whoa!" And I'm
Yeah.
wrapped with that because I never want it just to be a girly book. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well,
Yeah.
I love a good mystery. You know, and I
What's
love
that?
like a like when you're learning things as it like it keeps you wanting to read because you're wondering
Yeah.
what's going to happen, what's going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those books that you're reading before bed, it's way too late, and then you get to the end of the chapter, you're like, what? No, I need more.
That's exactly how I write, and I've done it with my next novel and my new one I'm writing. But I also go through time in all my novels. So
Hmm.
in Breathe Grace, I do it through Grace doesn't really realize she's got the power to go into like dream-like trances, and she finds herself in the mines next to the Taliban miners, or in the middle of a bombing in Afghanistan, or
Mm,
places like that. And whew, I had to research to get that right, and I'm still hoping I did. But
yeah,
it really humbled me. The whole process was amazing.
yeah, and I suppose it'll really open people's eyes to what it's like over in those countries.
In a
Um,
tiny bit, yeah.
yeah,
Um,
um,
I've had a lot of I've been invited on a couple of cultural things now, and where they've said you've handled it really beautifully, and you've been really cautious enough and said the facts without
yeah,
with sensitivity. So
yeah,
I feel all I wanted to do with those beautiful people justice, really.
mm,
The more I found out about, we have it so good here.
yeah,
And our young people, if they can for 5 minutes have a look and go, hang on, what? That's a girl in the same
yeah,
time period as me. And
yeah,
how are we living on the same planet? That's, to me,
yeah.
I've done my job. Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. Like even when you think back to like I learned about how young the founding fathers of America were when they
Oh,
signed the Declaration. They go, this guy's
I,
18, this guy's
I
24.
know.
You know,
Did you know?
even Ned Kelly, he got hanged at 25. You know, like,
We
and
didn't even
he's
know who we were then. Like,
no,
yeah.
no. It's just
Same
like
with Queen
you know,
Elizabeth. Like, she was a baby when she had to take over.
yeah. We've had it so good. Like I
Mm,
like to say like I grew up. I was born in the 80s, and I think I had it pretty flipping good.
yeah.
Um, the
Same.
perfect time to grow up in. You know, you don't have anything really
Yeah.
bad to deal with.
Yeah. It's hard for them now. I do
Yeah,
get that. And I don't write it to bring more, dampness or oppression.
no,
But I do it so that, these people are our young people are our future as well. And
yeah,
they can be a voice of change. And if
yeah,
if I can get it into the educational system more and more, it's
yeah,
just food for thought. You know
yeah,
what I mean? So then clearly I had to top that with something even more topical.
yeah.
Do you want me to keep talking about it the
Go,
next
go,
one? Or?
go, go. Move along. I do want to come back to your Houdini book.
Okay.
Because you know
I,
me, I love animals.
good. I'd like to too.
But keep rolling, keep rolling.
So then I thought, okay, I've written you know, a book like Breathe Grace, which is dealing with Afghanistan and
Hmm.
Australia. What to? Then I started to follow some people called Destiny's Rescue. I don't know if you've ever heard of them,
No,
but
I've heard of Destiny's Child, but not Destiny's Rescue.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
seeing Destiny's Child. Yeah, just as cool, these people. Except that they send teams into Nepal, India, Asia, all over the place,
Wow.
and rescue children from trafficking
Oh,
situations.
see, I love that. That's
Right?
just
What could I do? So I
yeah.
became part of that organization, and um, I've written a book called The Shadows in My Mind. And this one, another new adult, but again, it's just had a 5-star review from an
Hmm.
adult book club and reviewer. So I'm very happy.
Yeah.
And The Shadows in My Mind is about a young girl called Anya, wakes up in an Australian hospital with trauma amnesia. Now, she knows she's recently been transported in and adopted by her Australian missionary parents. Doesn't know too much about her past. Knows she's from, knows she has come from India. She's quite happy to be moving on and not reliving a lot of her past. She blocks a lot of it. Doesn't want to know, doesn't want to know, doesn't want to know. Happy to get on with her life in Australia until a really mysterious letter comes from India, and it says, I was the housemaid in the home that you were brought in and captive of for 9 years. I need you to help me. You still have a sister in captivity here. It's even giving me goosebumps as I say it. So Anya starts, as trauma victims do of trauma amnesia, starts getting some flashbacks, getting some recall of where she's been and what's happened. Realizes she was stolen at 9 from Nepal, as was her twin sister, and trafficked into India through an open border that still exists today. And she's got to decide, is she going back into India to face her potential captor, or is she going to... so she meets this really cool sort of Australian detective who has been in that industry his whole life, but doesn't want to know about it anymore. His last mission went terribly wrong. No, doesn't want to do it. He won't help. Off she goes to India. Can't spoil it, but it's pretty full on.
To be continued.
To be continued. I had the most humbling experience again. I got to talk to orphanages. I talked to women who had worked in brothels in the red light district in India for 20 years, and their stories and Indian culture, and it was quite incredible. And even to the point of Google Earth, it's so amazing. I could zoom into the street where the girls were stolen from at 9, from the orphanage that raised them, and which happens every day and has happened on that street. And another book that's a really fast pace. People are saying, the reviews are going, I could not put this down. 2 days, I had to know, even though I wanted to put it down, because some of the scenes are pretty full on. I steered away from a lot of the sex trafficking just because I knew it would be in senior school curriculum. So although I've mentioned that, trafficking umbrellas, everything from organ stealing to housemaids at 8 to a lot of things. So again, I just hope I've done those beautiful people justice, and it's rife today after COVID still. So but
it's a lot. Sounds like you've had a long journey from children's books to to something a little more intense.
I went from to so my new novel I'm writing is a little bit calmer. It's still a very cool historical novel. It's my newest novel is called Where the Driftwood Meets the Sand, and it's about the Qing dynasty, which is the last monarchy in China, and one of their royal family, just before war's about to dispose of the monarchy, she gets out and flees to Australia with all the treasure, with all the monarchy jewels.
Oh, wow.
So she hides out on the coastline of Australia, and it's her story. She's a ghost now, and her great-great-granddaughter trying to find these jewels, and they morph from one to the other. So I'm constantly going from 1902 to 2017 and back and forth.
Nice.
I'm having heaps of fun. Ghost writing is fun.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been up to.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's lighten the mood with let's talk about Hudson Houdini.
Yeah.
Hudson Houdini. How easy was it to write? Like did you just translate things that actually happened into the book, or how'd you?
Yeah, Hudson was a Cocker Spaniel, hilarious guy. He was just a fabulous chap. I'm right into my dogs. I love them. And I've always kind of believed, still do, dogs, cats, whatever animals you've got, they've fully got a secret life that you do not know about. And when you go off to work, that's when the real fun begins. All right? I really think that. So Hudson was quite easy to write because I've always been a a big rhymer, and I love having lots of fun. And basically, I turned him into every time the family went off to work and school, he would morph into a superhero, and he'd cruise around his community, and anyone in needing a hand, he'd help. So in one of my stories, there's a really grumpy horse named Bentley, and he's got a bit of apple in his tooth, and Hudson saves the day. In another one, there's a guinea pig that's gone down the drain pipe. In another one, there's a really jealous rabbit who has put the other family rabbit in a shed because he wants to be the only rabbit in the family. And some chooks that fell down a wall. So, I had so much fun, and it was a really embraced book because, oh my God, Hudson had escaped from our house so many times. The whole community knew him anyway. He would always I'd get a call going, oh, Hudson's at the bakery, or Hudson's at the school. No worries, I'm coming.
We for a long time where I live, we had a little dog that would go for walks by itself. And it'd be halfway down. His name was Bindi. It was a little Jack Russell. It'd be halfway down the street, and you'd go, Bindi, go home, and then she'd turn around and go, so she'd listen to everybody.
They're a great dog.
They're
so full of sass. I love them.
It's like she knew where her owners were because they had friends down the road, and then she'd just walk there and then walk home, and like she lived to like 20 something,
Yeah. See, alternate life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hudson was the same. He lived till 16. He just cruised around. He had it going on.
He knew the streets. He knew the gig.
Yeah. So it was an absolute pleasure writing that. And I just never actually, really expected it would go any further. Lady Lulu, it was a funnier journey because I went a lot harder, and I was a lot more serious with Lady Lulu, and it just kept getting rejected. Thinking, oh, what? And then I had a fabulous manuscript assessment. They're just great. They helped me so much, and basically they just taught me how to rewrite the whole book in what a publisher might be looking for, and helped heaps, and it got picked up straight away.
So will there be a Lulu and Houdini crossover?
Sequels? I don't know. I'm so into my young adult novels. I love them, and I really want to keep going. But I was thinking not, because I've actually written another manuscript that I feel is super cool, and actually I think you would love this one. It's called now what's it called? It's about a little boy. I haven't really named it. I think it was called Operation IG, which is Operation Imagination Glasses. Does that make sense?
I think it does. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. And it's about a little boy who, and I think kids would love this, but maybe it's just me, can cruise around, and he's bored. Like if he's following his mum in the shopping centre, or if he's at school or whatever, and he's got a little button behind his ear, and when he presses it, invisible glasses come on, and he can see the whole alternate world. Like he can see flies wrestling, and he can hear, like, imagine that, like that, little birds cruising past on skateboards or whatever.
Alternative universe.
Correct. Right. And I thought kids would love that, because that's all about imagination, and they could just actually envisage that anyway. So
anything
when I had that.
Anything to get the creative juices flowing.
Yeah. So I've had that manuscript in schools a lot, and a lot of teachers loved that, but I just haven't got around to polishing it and sending it anywhere. But I actually loved that, because I worry about kids and their imagination these days, and there's such structured activities in their lives, and I don't know. I'm an outside girl, get them outside.
Yeah, well, that's it. I grew up with a healthy amount of playing outside.
Same. Yeah.
I grew up with video games, but that was rainy days and night times.
It's not every 5 minutes.
No. It's out the door. But now in my neighborhood, I see that if I'm home early enough, the school bus pulls up, all 30 kids get off. You never see them. They're just
That's it. It's a worry, isn't it? And I know safety is an issue. We're lucky we're still in a community where it's, as I said, pretty rural, and kids are out all the time. There are the horsey kids, motorbike kids, whatever. But it kills me when you see your family out for dinner and the kids are just on their devices at the dinner table. I'm like, let's have a conversation. Let's make up stories about the people around us,
I sometimes text my nephew or someone, like they're sitting on the couch, and I just text them. They're going, socialize, you know.
Look, I must admit, I do that to my children when I can't see them. Sometimes I know they're around because it'll just annoy them.
Yeah.
Or if I'm writing in my studio, which is out the back,
Yeah.
they text me, "Oh, when's dinner? Whenever you're going to make it."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of, I just remembered what it was like for me in school. Like, we had a teacher that he'd give us a story with no punctuation, no spelling, or
Yes,
it had the
cool.
spelling. Yeah, like, so there's no full stops, no commas, no capitals or anything, and it would just be words on a page, and then you would have to do
Yeah, I
all
love
the
that.
punctuation, and you'd want to do it because you want to know what's going to happen in the story, and
Yeah, you want
that
it to
sort of
make
thing.
sense of it. Thanks
Yeah.
for the tip. I might try that in the next week or so. I haven't done that for
I
ages.
think I got rid of most of my school stuff because I hated school. But
Did
I think I have a few bits and pieces lying around, so I'll see if I can
Yeah.
pull it out and show you what it was like.
Why did you hate it? It wasn't creative enough for you?
No, I was bullied a lot.
Oh, okay.
So I wanted to get out as quickly as I could, you know.
Yeah,
So I didn't
it's
really
just all
focus.
too
But
much.
I did a lot of drawing. So I've got
Yeah,
a
to
whole lot of,
escape.
yeah. Well, it's more so to, you know, I was just bored, you know.
Yeah.
And then everyone said, "You're really good at drawing. You should do cartooning." So when I left school, I did a cartooning course and went, "I don't like this."
Yeah, it's not you.
It's like I only did it to, you know.
Yeah, because you thought that was your thing.
Well, it kind of helped me concentrate more.
Oh, yeah, I get that
'cause
100%.
my mind, like, I find it really hard to read because my mind wanders because I have an
Yeah.
idea. Like, I'll read half a page and then I realize I haven't read any of the page
Yeah,
because
you
the
do.
first
Oh,
two words has made me think of something and I've gone, you know,
I
wandering
was
off
doing
like
that.
that.
I was doing that tonight. It drives me crazy.
Yeah.
It's a good skill, but it's also
Yeah.
it drives you a crazy skill,
Yeah.
doesn't it? It's our busy minds. And I think so you're the perfect author then because you're 100% always
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah. I got a million ideas, all these stories I want to
Oh,
do.
yeah.
I got, well, my best mate always has ideas, and he's always like, "What about this? What about this?" I'm going, like, "Can we concentrate on one thing?" You know?
Just write everything
Yeah.
down. It'll come back.
Yeah.
But I think we
No.
were talking a while back that it's always in the middle of the night or really awkward times that the coolest stuff comes to you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. No. Well, I immediately just put notes on my phone. I just go. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah.
Same.
I got
100%.
an author friend, regular listener of the show, Martin Kearns. Shout out to Martin Kearns. He's from New York, and he just says he's driving, and then he'll just go, "Hey Siri," and then
Hey, I like.
I set off Siri. And then yeah, and then he'll make a note, and then while he's driving,
Clever man.
and all that
See, I
stuff.
do that for shopping lists. Why didn't I morph that in my mind to
Mm.
writing lists?
Yeah, just keep notes.
I'm doing it. Thanks.
Awesome.
No
Well,
time for sleep, is there?
well, thank you so much for coming on.
Pleasure,
And
treasure.
before we let you go, just want to let people know where they can learn more about you and buy your books and all that junk.
That's a big thing, isn't it? The old social media.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like you, my friend, I've got things out there everywhere. My Instagram is the word handle. Is that the cool one?
Yeah,
word?
I think handle is when it's at something.
Okay, all right. So I'm at Kelly, KELLY .Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Wings for Grace, all one word, because Wings for Grace is actually my business name. I run an educational consulting business. That basically it's an excuse to hang out with my animals, really, and cool kids, and it's my writing studio as well. So
Awesome.
I have a website called Wings for Grace as well that you can find me, buy my books if you wish to, or contact me anytime. And my Facebook is Kelly Wilson. So I'm around. So I've always got stock that you can contact me direct, or Shoreline Publishing always have all my books on hand ready to go as well. Or of course Amazon, or all the forums.
The evil Amazon.
Yes, I know. I shouldn't have said it. Contact me directly. That's the best way.
I'll put all those links in the show note, except for Amazon. I won't do Amazon.
Okay, no problem.
Unless you want to make like $1 off each sale.
Yeah, no thanks. No, it's hard enough, as we know.
Amazon is the perfect example of good and bad at the same time.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad.
Yeah, you just have to be super clever.
Apparently, they treat their employees very, very badly.
Is that right?
Like they're like tracked. Like,
really?
So they know when they're going to the toilet. They know when they're going to
Oh, no, thanks.
And they basically, I think my mate put it this way. He said they burn them out for a year and then they quit, and then hire someone else
Takes
and then
over,
burn them
so they
out,
got-
and then always,
Oh.
Really. Also, we can have a package overnight.
Far out. We should not. Yeah. Okay. So when we're going back to that quick, what would I eliminate from the world?
What, Amazon? No.
Whoosh! We didn't say that out loud.
or no, or maybe just bad employers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Selfish employers, which goes back to greed again, doesn't it? And
Yes.
entitlement.
Off to Mars with Elon Musk.
Yes. Ring Elon. Yes, ring him. He'll sort it.
All right,
So-
let's end on a high.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming, and we'll catch you next time, guys.
Amazing to have some of your time. Thanks so much.